If you ever wanted to become a data engineer, you have come to the right video. So I've been a data engineer for 6 years now, and I'm gonna tell you guys, it is a very rewarding career path. So I'm gonna give you guys the story of how I became a data engineer, and you can kind of apply it to your life, and you can take some of the similar steps that I did and avoid some of the mistakes that I made that stunted my growth. But I've learned from them and overcame a lot of challenges, and I want to share that with you guys today. So, if you guys do not know who I am, my name is William Orgetrice. I am the owner of Before the Billions, where I give genuine advice for people who are trying to get into the tech industry. And I have reaped a lot of benefits from getting into tech, so I love to share my insights with everyone. But I got to tell you guys, like, what exactly is a data engineer? And I like to frame it very simply as a data engineer is somebody who moves data or information from one place to the other. But in a more technical standpoint, what a data engineer does is we build out data pipelines. Data just meaning information. Okay? So we move information from one place to the other. We have to make sure that it is secured. We have to make sure that it is exactly what the business wants to be sent. So we have to also transform the information so that way it meets business needs. So, in a more technical sense, that is what a data engineer is. There's a lot of different responsibilities that a data engineer does, such as automation. We also can work as a database administrator and, in some cases, sysadmin. We have some of the similar responsibilities that you may see from those two other roles. But we also look into analytics as well. So that is essentially some of the responsibilities, but I can't get into every single responsibility or task that a data engineer does in this one video. I would suggest that if you are interested in something like that, which is the first step to becoming a data engineer, I would suggest checking out on either ChatGPT, Google, what a data engineer does, and look at the salaries as well. At the time of this recording, a data engineer or a mid-level data engineer on average can make around $140,000. So it is 2024 at the moment, and I just wanted to bring that up because it is really rewarding because you can make a lot of money comparatively to a lot of other industries and other roles, but then also you get a lot of benefits as well. So, how did I get started as a data engineer? And hopefully, this will relate to some people who may be going on the same path, or you may be able to take some nuggets from what I'm going to say and apply it to your particular circumstance. So, when I was getting started as a data engineer, I was influenced by my dad. My dad told me, hey, he worked in IT. He was a police officer for Fulton County Police Department, and he's been a police officer for close to 30 years. And he told me when I was graduating from high school, he said, hey, you need to find a role that will help you to make enough money to take care of yourself and your family when you get older. So I was about to go to college, and I chose computer science because I looked up on Google to see what were the different roles or different jobs that could make good money, or what were the highest paying jobs. And of course, it came up with doctor, surgeon, lawyer, nurse, and then I saw a computer programmer. So I decided to go and pursue my degree in computer science. And you don't necessarily need to get a degree to become a data engineer. but for the most part, you will. Okay, just at least at the time of this recording, a good majority of the data engineering roles will require some sort of formal education in an undergraduate degree relating to some sort of STEM major. So you can also become a data engineer from non-STEM majors, but for the most part, it's going to be a STEM major that you're going to be going for. And I chose computer science at the time. You can also, very close to it, is computer information systems, which is more on the business side. Computer science is more theoretical. And prepared to do a lot of coding, despite data engineers not always having to code, right? Like it's a part of our job, but it's not like every single day we have to code. We more so manage the pipelines. After the pipeline is written or coded, then we will go ahead and maintain it. But I was pursuing my degree in computer science at this time, and just so that way I can move on to the next classes because they have different prerequisites, and all the classes were full. I went to Georgia State University, so it's one of the most diverse colleges in the world. But I went to Georgia State and all the classes would be full, and I needed to take a class, and I decided to take a specification in databases and knowledge base systems. And that is what gave me the framework in order to understand databases and understand back-end development. After I graduated, I had two internships while I was in school. So two internships, one for an information security advisory intern and one for a software development internship. After leaving from my internship and graduating, I moved on to my first job as a data engineer. But the role's name was a software engineer. But I'm gonna tell you guys is that in corporate, every company is going to be different. So you can be a software engineer but work on back end development. You can be a software engineer and essentially be a data engineer. So it really just depends. But I worked when I first got my first job, it was a DevOps engineer. I was on a DevOps team. So I had to work on the full software development lifecycle, which is creating requirements, and I had to do the maintenance. I had to actually write the code and build the code. We had to provide support. So we were on several calls, like call rotations. And then we also had to run scrum meetings. Okay. And the way that I got my first job was because I had those internships and leveraged those connections. I was networking with the people at the first company I got like a full-time job from. And then also a bit of advice that I received from my director when I was an intern was that I need to start applying to more contract positions because I didn't really have a lot of real world experience. Despite having a degree, it is still difficult to be able to go directly from getting your degree into a full time role. A lot of companies want to date you before they marry you, is what I was told when I was going through this process. And I got a position as a data engineer or software engineer as a contractor, a W-2 contractor for contract to hire. So if you're going through this, understand that you may need to broaden your horizons. If you are looking for a role, if you want to go into data engineering, start looking at some of, like I would suggest, look at both full-time and contract positions because you never know who's going to give you your first opportunity. So if you're applying to jobs, the best way to be able to get a job as a data engineer or any technical role is to go through staffing agencies. If you don't have a network, if you don't feel like posting content on LinkedIn and everything else, I would suggest looking at these staffing agencies, and because they will post roles, and essentially what they'll do is, if you get multiple staffing agencies interview with them, they start to advocate for you on your behalf, and you leverage their connections to companies so that way you can get a job through them. Okay, and they get paid, and I'll tell you guys, they get paid a lot more than you would think. Right? Every company is a little bit different, but you will see a huge chunk of money going towards the staffing agency, and you'll be sitting here thinking like, wait, like they getting paid that much? Yes, they get paid thousands of dollars off of placing you for a role. So when you are going through this journey of like searching for a job and you have no experience at all, or you're transitioning from another industry, understand that you will have to try to show that you have some sort of transferable skills. And right now, it's a really brutal job market in 2024. So you have to understand that transferable skills have to have a story behind them. You really need to sell that whatever skill that you've gained in your class, in your project, or in your previous roles relates directly to what you're going to be doing. And don't get too caught up on the specific technologies. You need to understand the use cases and the methods behind why companies would use a specific technology. I'm going to tell you guys, I use like 30 plus different technologies. Ever since I first started, there are so many different tools and technologies and internal tools that these companies use. You'll never be able to learn something, and then if you ever get laid off, fired, or you just move from job to job, you will understand that, hey, like, you learned all these different technologies. Well, you go somewhere else, they don't even use them, and they use them completely different. The technologies will change, the people will change, the data will stay the same. Data is gold. It is the new gold. It's information. Companies make a lot of money off of it, and they make a lot of insights around it. If you ever wanted to get into AI, where do you think the data or the information comes from? For the AI? Where do you think the information, when you log into Facebook or log into YouTube or Instagram, where do you think that your information for your profile comes from? Right? So the data engineers are there to be able to send that information over to populate all of those pages that you will go to on a Facebook or any other social media platform, any website. They have to manage the database of the information. They have to be able to send the information to the right place. And without the data engineers, you'll have a blank page, or you'll have like a page that just says error, because the database is where all the information is loaded. Okay? If you don't have somebody like that to maintain it, it doesn't necessarily need to be a data engineer. It could just be a database administrator or a sysadmin, or somebody has to work with the database. So you want to be able to handle whenever any challenges will come up, and you bring that up in the interview when you are like applying for jobs. You will always have to let people know that you are a problem solver. You're ready to hit the ground running. You work on big systems, solving big problems, and you go in there with confidence, and you let people know how great you are and how your skills that you've been able to develop over the years of work and study that you've been able to put in have honed yourself so that way you can get this job. Don't ever believe that somebody is taking a chance on you. Always believe that you are the best person for the job at that time. That being said, guys, hopefully that helped by me telling my story and telling you guys like, hey, this is how I got started. This is how I got my first job. I've been in it for 6 years. I'm passionate for data engineering. I absolutely love it. It's helped me. It's helped my family tremendously. I love telling this story about my dad and how he helped to put me into the right path of being in the industry or in the tech industry. And I hope that if I even reach one person from this video, then it would all be worth it. So with that being said, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And also hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified whenever I make new videos on YouTube. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you all next time. Do not forget to build your billions.